Strength isn't always shown in what you hold on to. Sometimes the strongest thing you'll ever do is walk away. Not out of hate, not to prove a point, but because you finally realized that staying is costing you more than leaving ever could. The Stoics didn't build their lives around what felt good. They built them around what kept them free. And freedom isn't just about what you do, it's about what you no longer allow. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life." And yet most people spend their lives emotionally shackled by attachments, guilt, fear, or obligation. They confuse staying silent with being strong. They confuse endurance with virtue. But here's what the Stoics understood. Enduring what destroys you is not strength, it's neglect. This video isn't about running from struggle. It's about recognizing when something, or someone, has crossed the line between challenge and captivity. Walking away doesn't mean you're weak. It means you've stopped being ruled by what hurts you. It means you've started choosing you. Most people don't stay because it's good. They stay because it's familiar. Because the silence after walking away feels heavier than the noise they've gotten used to. But the Stoics didn't fear silence. They embraced it. Because in silence, truth becomes undeniable. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." And if your daily thoughts are filled with exhaustion, resentment, or self-doubt, what kind of soul are you building? Sometimes, the most exhausting part of staying isn't the relationship, the job, the situation. It's the constant internal dialogue trying to justify it, trying to make it not that bad, trying to shrink your needs to fit someone else's limits. That's not strength, that's self-abandonment. The Stoic doesn't stay where he's not respected. He doesn't explain his worth endlessly. He doesn't beg for peace inside a place built on tension. He leaves, not with anger, with alignment. He walks away not because he's done caring, but because he's done compromising who he is just to be tolerated. Walking away isn't about giving up. It's about protecting what's left of you. Most people think strength is shown in how long you endure. But the Stoics knew better. They understood that the true test of strength isn't how much you can tolerate. It's when you choose to stop tolerating what breaks you. Every time you stay in a situation or relationship that drains you emotionally, you teach your mind that it's okay to lose yourself for someone else's comfort. The Stoics practiced self-control, but they also practiced self-respect. Epictetus taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." And sometimes, the most powerful reaction is to walk away, without apology, without explanation. Because strength isn't in holding on to what's destroying you. Strength is knowing when it's time to protect your peace, your future, and your dignity. So ask yourself, what's the cost of staying? And is it worth the toll it's taking on your mind, your heart, and your soul? Strength is not always loud. Sometimes, strength is the quiet confidence to step away when everyone else wants you to stay. When you walk away, you stop giving them the power to define your worth. You stop letting their expectations become your reality. Most people assume that walking away means you've lost the fight. But the Stoics understood that sometimes, the strongest move is choosing not to fight at all. Seneca said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." So ask yourself, what are you craving right now? Do you crave validation from others? Do you crave their approval, their love, their attention? Because if that's the case, you're giving your power away. The person who respects themselves doesn't need anyone else to validate their worth. They know their value doesn't come from others, it comes from within. Walking away from a toxic relationship isn't a defeat. It's the declaration that you have enough respect for yourself to stop allowing others to shape your self-worth. And that's where real strength begins. If you're training your mind like a warrior, hit subscribe. No hype, just discipline. Walking away doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're aware. And awareness is power. The more you tolerate, the more you teach people how to treat you. But the moment you stop tolerating what diminishes you, you create a new standard. The Stoics believed that true freedom came from self-control. And freedom isn't just about being able to do what you want. It's about being able to refuse what doesn't align with your values. When you walk away from someone who doesn't respect your boundaries, you're not running from a fight. You're simply deciding you're no longer willing to be part of a destructive pattern. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to justify why you're leaving. You don't need their understanding. What you need is your own peace, your own clarity, your own respect. Because real strength isn't about holding on to a relationship that drains you. It's about recognizing when the relationship has already drained you dry and having the courage to let it go. Here's the question you need to face. No more running. Are you staying because you're afraid of being alone, or because you're afraid of being your best self without them? Most people stay in toxic relationships because they fear losing the version of themselves that the relationship keeps alive. The version that needs validation. The version that depends on someone else to feel worthy. But real strength isn't found in surviving a toxic relationship. It's found in choosing independence over dependence. The Stoics didn't need people to tell them who they were. They told themselves. And when you stop allowing others to define you, when you stop looking for their approval to feel whole, that's when you can truly grow. You won't need anyone else to feel complete. You won't need anyone to tell you your worth. You will know it. And if the people in your life can't respect that, then they're not meant to stay. Because you were never meant to shrink to keep someone else comfortable. When you decide to walk away, you stop being a victim of your circumstances. You stop waiting for someone to change. You stop hoping they'll see what you're worth. You stop needing them to make you feel complete. Instead, you walk away because you've realized that you already are complete. The Stoics knew this. Power doesn't come from the outside. It comes from how you stand within yourself. And that's the hardest part of walking away. It's not the leaving. It's the believing that you deserve better, that you are worthy of respect, that you are worthy of peace. The moment you believe that, you no longer have to settle for anyone who refuses to treat you the way you deserve. You no longer have to justify your boundaries. You no longer have to explain your absence. Because when you choose yourself, it's the ultimate act of strength. And when you do that, you'll find that the only people who will remain in your life are the ones who honor your journey and respect your peace. The moment you choose to walk away, you choose freedom. Freedom from needing to explain yourself. Freedom from being manipulated by guilt. Freedom from the emotional chains that tie you to someone who's only holding you back. The Stoics weren't about avoiding challenges. They were about choosing the challenges that aligned with their purpose. And if a relationship doesn't allow you to live in alignment with your values, your purpose, and your peace, it's not a relationship. It's a distraction. Walking away isn't a sign of failure. It's a declaration of strength. A declaration that you value yourself enough to protect your energy, your time, and your peace. You can't change others, but you can control where you place your energy. And once you realize that, you no longer need to convince anyone of your worth. You simply walk away, knowing that the only validation you need comes from the inside. True strength doesn't come from holding on. It comes from knowing when to let go.